All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to get started today on 23.2, the second part of the era of protest. I'm going to quickly review some things you need to know for the test from 23.1, and we'll get started with women's rights today. Again, to be clear, it ended the last lecture with this. We're all going to have bias. We're all going to have opinions. It's all good. It's great when you can disagree. I know it's really kind of hard for you to do that because you're watching a video of me. When we go to Google Meet, if you have something you want to add, something you want to ask, or something you want to disagree and tell me, Coach Hill, you're flat out wrong. That's great. Cool. Awesome. It's good stuff. It's what makes us Americans. So I'm gonna quick review what you need to know from 23.1 for the test, and we'll go from there. So obviously some vocabulary. You need to know hippies, what they were, what they centered their lifestyle around, sex, drugs, and music, okay? And we kind of went into that. Make sure you know that they're called the baby boom generation. Make sure also when we talked about, I think I included drugs on here, what type of drugs in the 1960s became really kind of prevalent that have never really kind of been around before, okay? Hippie communes will be on there as well. That what drug use and sexual interaction, what that eventually leads to. We need to know both of those for the test. And you'll need to know kind of like why was this generation so radical, and they really were just trying to rebel against the day-to-day. And this is every generation of like young people do this. They like have something that they need a cause to make them feel special, make them feel like they're different, that they're doing something good, and get it, understand it, but sometimes it's not good. And then we talked a little bit about South Park. All right, so let's get to today, women's rights. So I told you at the beginning of the chapter of the last lecture we had, that there's going to be some things, some adult things we talked about, in section 1 we talked about, sex on the communes and drugs and so on and so forth. Today we're going to talk about women's rights and Roe v. Wade and abortion. What does the actual law say? What's kind of going on today? So we'll talk a little bit about that. All right, so first let's do a kind of brief history. Every chapter, I always try to incorporate either some kind of minority history, from chapter 1 to chapter 9. There's always one section that we're talking about, Mexican Americans, African Americans, women, Japanese Americans during World War II. We always try to talk a little bit about each minority group, so we're not just learning about dead white guys, So I just want to quickly review the things that we've covered so far and what we're going to kind of be talking about for today. So for feminism, it's nothing new. In the 19th century, we learned about the abolition movement, and we talked about in the abolition movement, women were huge part of they were pushing, one of the biggest groups that was pushing to abolish slavery. Why? One, we talked about this already, but we talked about how they hate to see families broken up the way the slave markets were. They hated to see that, and that's an awful, awful thing. And there's also this natural understanding that that all men aren't free in America. So how the heck are women going to be able to vote? How the heck are women going to have their rights if all men aren't free first? So they really pushed the abolition movement. Okay. In the 19th century, in the 1800s, we see basically 1919 the suffrage movement. Okay,